My MagnaGuards. They're relics of the Clone War, designed to battle Jedi Knights, of which you are clearly not one. Gracchus to Luke Skywalker. The IG-100 MagnaGuard, also known as the MagnaGuard, the MagnaDroid, or the prototype self-motivating, heuristically programmed combat droid, was a fearsome bodyguard droid and type of battle droid created by Holowan Mechanicals. They were a favorite of General Grievous, who used them as his bodyguard during the Clone Wars, though they were also known to accompany other high-ranking Separatist personnel, including Count Dooku. MagnaGuards were equipped with electrostaffs that could be used against Jedi lightsabers, and were capable of continuing a fight even with the loss of one or more limbs, or even their heads. They were worthy competitors even to the most skilled Jedi. One was even able to back Obi-Wan Kenobi into a corner. While formidable opponents in close quarters, they were also capable of piloting rogue-class Borax 38 starfighters, and using blasters and RPS-6 launchers, and were often seen wearing cloaks. MagnaGuards usually fought in pairs of two, one to occupy the Jedi's lightsaber and one to attack from the unguarded flanks or behind. The presence of MagnaGuards indicated that high-ranking commanders were present and gave the droids automatic authority over other battle droids. The Electro-Staff was the standard weapon of the MagnaGuard, complementing their training in the 7 classic forms of lightsaber combat. The rod, made of frick metal, could withstand lightsaber attacks, something that initially caught many Jedi by surprise, with dire consequences. The IG-100s were notorious for carrying other weapons, particularly for long-range combat, with a preference for spectacular explosives. The large number of MagnaGuard variants, with their different colors, had a wide range of materials, including missile launchers, tow cables, magnetized or extended arms, and even personal concealment devices. In tribute to his original loyal IG-100 bodyguards, Grievous inhibited the MagnaGuards by assisted I'm sorry, this is written very strangely. He dressed his MagnaGuard in the same cultural signifiers as the IG-100, which is why they wear cloaks, and why those cloaks have markings. These cloaks also helped to give the IG-100 droids an even more menacing appearance. Developed by Holowan Mechanicals, part of Holowan Laboratories, ensured that the IG-100 MagnaGuards looked intimidating thanks to the dull red glow of their photoreceptor. Their expressionless faces, their sheer physical build, all creating a fearsome impact. The droids had a number of physical attributes to back them up. Count Dooku, who wanted a warrior droid that was at the height of Grievous stakes. I'm sorry, I believe this page was written. Anyways. Choose the operational parameters for the Guard. IG-100 droids were inspired by the legendary Krath war droids in appearance, and mimicked the powerful Kaleesh warriors from Grievous's past. previously known to be heuristically programmed combat units, the self-moved tactics of the IG-100s were programmed for many forms of combat. Nevertheless, Grievous ordered that knowledge to be wiped from the droid's memory banks. Dooku trained Grievous in the combat arts of the Jedi Order, while the cyborg in turn taught the guards everything he learned, knowing he would be facing many Jedi Knights during the Clone Wars. Even though Grievous' training was hard for the droids, with even those that survived ending up with burns and dents, the training created a terrifyingly effective force of droids. The cunning cyborg then did not allow his guards to repair their damage, knowing that their combat-tanned aspects could enhance their aura. The MagnaGuards that survived gained numerous nicks and scratches to their body armor, and Grievous made sure those were left clearly visible to show their foes that they were facing battle veterans. Ultimately, the fearsome MagnaGuards, with their effectiveness being a clear result of their training and weapons, quickly became as feared as their lord. They even shared their general's fearsome reputation. Rarely working alone, the IG-100 units normally worked in groups of 2 or 3. 1 or 2 could therefore battle a Jedi or other opponent, while the third stayed in reserve, waiting for the perfect chance to strike down their foe. The MagnaGuards remained loyal to their primary directive. They formed a shield around General Grievous that few could pass. Any attacker sneaking to reach Grievous would have to face just such experienced bodyguards as these. Those that did not survive were generally too exhausted to prove much more than entertainment for the cyborg general. The droids were such a great success that Count Dooku used a cadre of MagnaGuards as bodyguards. The IG-100s could lose an arm or both legs and still be a threat. Thanks to a number of redundant systems and a spare photoreceptor in the chest, they could lose their heads and fight on. Jedi and clone troopers eventually learned to target their vital systems, but even this wasn't easy, as they were heavily armored with duranium used in their main frame and armor plating. The same duranium plates that served General Grievous so well. Even hitting one with sufficient force to knock it down or stagger it was hard, as their feet could anchor them magnetically and their heels could extend for greater stability. IG-100s appeared to occasionally use an audible form of droid language, or could speak in galactic basic standard. When in distress, such as when pinned to the ground, they also make yelping sounds. After the Republic and the Jedi intervened in the fight between his people and the Yamri, Grievous was approached by San Hill, chairman of the Intergalactic Banking Clan, who offered him the chance to become an enforcer, which he accepted. Grievous demanded a more intelligent personal guard after being forced to command the IGBC droids he despised. In response, Count Dooku commissioned the creation of the IG-100 MagnaGuards. The IG-100 guards were presented at General Grievous's resurrection as a cyborg. However, they were all slaughtered by Grievous out of his anger at being allied to the droids he so hated. As such, the MagnaGuards existed by 33 BBY. During the auction of Eldra Catus of that year, Gracchus Jabiakti Tingi the Hutt attended the auction with several MagnaGuards, serving as his personal escort. Sometime following the outbreak of the Clone Wars on Geonosis, Several MagnaGuards accompanied General Grievous when he hired the droid assassin ADW-4 to oversee the separatist operations on planet Hisrich. The fourth moon of Parian II was the scene of the first real test for the MagnaGuards. The Galactic Republic's forces, led by General Sanen, were crushed, with Grievous guiding his troops at the front. One of Grievous's MagnaGuards killed the Jedi by stabbing its electrostaff through his throat. Several MagnaGuards accompanied Count Dooku during his negotiations with Jabba the Hutt at his palace on Tatooine. After his Sith assassin Asajj Ventress's failure in rescuing Jabba's son Rata, Dooku sent his MagnaGuards to deal with Skywalker. A pair of MagnaGuards flew Rogue-class Borax-38 starfighters and were able to shoot down his nemesis, Jedi Knight Anakin Skywalker's ship, before they were destroyed. Later, a group of MagnaGuards then attacked Skywalker's apprentice, Ahsoka Tano, with orders to kill Jabba's son near his palace and bring her to the Hutt. Despite being only a Padawan, Tano was able to destroy them all and return Rata to his father. Grievous then took another group of MagnaGuards with him to Skytop Station on Ruusan II. When Grievous' spy, R3S6, reported that Skywalker had infiltrated his station, Grievous tasked his MagnaGuards with taking Skywalker's astromech, R2-D2, who was a separatist prisoner, to his ship. However, Skywalker and R2 were able to defeat the MagnaGuards. Several MagnaGuards were then stationed at Grievous's fortress on Vasek's third moon. However, Count Dooku, who sought to test the general's skills against the Jedi, had remotely deactivated the guards stationed there prior to the arrival of Jedi Master Kit Fisto, his former apprentice Jedi Knight Nadar Veb, and Clone Commander Phil and his squad. After Grievous was ambushed by the Jedi upon arrival, the general retreated to his quarters and reactivated his guards, and ordered them to secure the perimeter of the castle. One of the MagnaGuards then used a rocket launcher on the clone's new class attack transport shuttle. However, R6H5 was able to make a quick escape before the MagnaGuards attacked him. Though one of them managed to cling on to the fighter as it took off, R6 was able to rid himself of his antagonist by spinning the fighter in midair, sending the screaming MagnaGuard flying off. The MagnaGuards then assisted Grievous, fighting the two Jedi, until the cyborg killed the young Mon Calamari. Grievous and his MagnaGuards then surrounded Fisto as the general demanded his surrender. However, Fisto escaped. Later in the war... Bane then used one aboard his command ship when he attempted to force Jedi Master Bala Ropal to open the holocron in order to reveal the Kyber memory crystal's information. Grievous was able to use several of his MagnaGuards to subdue and capture Jedi Council member Master Eth Koth. Grievous also used them in his fight with Kenobi aboard the Republic light cruiser Surrogator at Salelchemy. Later in the war, Dooku had 4 with him at Richelieu's laboratory on Naboo. Together, they were able to capture Skywalker when he snuck into the lab. One of the MagnaGuards then tortured Skywalker with its electrostaff. Several MagnaGuards were also protecting him on Sereno at Castle Sereno, and the Box. Dooku also used them when he attempted to kidnap the Chancellor, but was defeated by Kenobi and Skywalker. Several of the droids accompanied Grievous as he massacred the Night Sisters on Dathomir to seek revenge on Ventress for her assassination attempts against Dooku and on the orders of his master, Dark Lord of the Sith, Dark Sidious, since her sisters were a threat to his new galactic empire. General Kalani also had several MagnaGuard with him to guard, torture, and execute King Rash's prisoners during their execution. On Utapu, there was a pair of MagnaGuards stationed on the planet when Dooku and Grievous had prepared a deal with the Sugi arms dealers for a massive kyber crystal for Sidious's secret weapon. But when Jedi Master Tu-On was investigating the conspiracy, attempting to find out their plans, they shot and killed her with a precision laser dart. Later, Skywalker and Kenobi were sent to Utapau, to investigate Tu-On's death. During their investigation, they interrogated a Toydarian named Gari, who informed them that a MagnaGuard was there earlier during a meeting, and that he was paid by the MagnaGuard to not reveal information. Skywalker and Kenobi eventually tracked down a pair of MagnaGuards. They were both destroyed, but not before Skywalker obtained information about the arms deal. When Skywalker and Kenobi obtained the crystal, several MagnaGuards pursued them along with Grievous. All but one were destroyed by the Jedi. Two more accompanied Grievous on a Separatist supply ship, holding the kyber crystal that the Separatists had recently stolen from Skywalker and Kenobi. They were both destroyed when the Jedi caused the crystal to explode. Concurrent to the Clone Wars, IG-100s also served in the Separatist campaign against the Shadow Collective. During the Battle of Zanbar, Grievous deployed his MagnaGuards to duel the renegade Sith Lord Maul, who quickly cut them down with his darksaber. Later, amid the Battle of Ord Mantell, a team of MagnaGuards accompanied Dooku into a Black Sun stronghold, but the droids were quickly cut down by Night Brothers. In addition to the large force of MagnaGuards who battled Jedi Master Shaak Ti before she was bested in combat by Grievous, two MagnaGuards, IG-101 and IG-102, were aboard the Providence-class dreadnought Invisible Hand, with the cyborg after Sheev Palpatine's capture during the Battle of Coruscant. When Skywalker and Kenobi reacquired their lightsabers that Grievous had taken, the General ordered the IG-100s to attack them. However, both of the MagnaGuards were destroyed by the Jedi quite easily. Another 4 were with Grievous when he returned to Utapau, and one observed Kenobi landing on the planet. They were then destroyed by Kenobi before he engaged Grievous in a final duel that resulted in the cyborg general's death. However, at the end of the Clone Wars, Darth Vader assassinated the Separatist leaders, and the Emperor ordered the deactivation of MagnaGuards. They had ceased to be useful. After the Clone Wars, the great majority of MagnaGuards were retired. Some of them were acquired by collectors and given a new use. On the planet Kobo, MagnaGuards and other former Separatist forces were reprogrammed and used by soldiers at the Bedlam Raiders. One of these MagnaGuards became a personal project of the Gendai Ravis, the leader of the Bedlam Raiders. The MagnaGuard, which would be known as the Mastiff, had its programming altered to be more lethal than a common MagnaGuard. Like other MagnaGuards, the Mastiff was destroyed by Jedi Knight Cal Kestis in 9 BBY. At some point after the Battle of Yavin, a pair of refitted MagnaGuards were on Nar Shaddaa in the service of Gracchus the Hutt. The two droids battled Luke Skywalker during Gracchus's attempt to steal the young rebel's lightsaber. Later, many of them fought TIE fighter pilots who arrived to capture Skywalker under orders of Sergeant Creel. One yellow-lighted IG-100 served in the ranks of Zara's raider crew. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing.